All right, 7:07. Let's get started. Just want to thank everybody for joining us here today as we talk to Josh Pierce about his art. We're going to start to ask him some questions. We have some in different spaces here, so I have questions that I have formulated for Josh, and then we also have some in our Discord that I'll be asking. A couple that were sent through Twitter, and then we'll do a couple question and answer things here with him as well from anybody that's here in the Twitter space. So let's get started. So, Josh, as an artist, what is your background, sir?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, I just wanted to say first um, that I really appreciate you guys having me on and asking me to participate. As an artist um, in your artist style and um, everything you guys got going on is really cool. So I'm just like, I'm very honored. I was in the Discord earlier and I saw a lot of comments and I just see a lot of people like that really connected with my work over time um, it's just cool. This is what I love about NFTs. There's just so much cool stuff happening all across the board, different things happening that the projects I didn't even know about. Um, and just to get hooked up with you guys, and here I am. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you first.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. It's a
Um,
pleasure to have you. An honor, truly. Having somebody like yourself and your background that I've researched up on. So I'm super excited to share all of that information with everybody that's listening. Because once they start to hear your background and everything, it's gonna blow them away.
yeah, well, I hope so. A lot of times most days I feel like just a regular guy. Uh,
Yeah.
but it is very cool. It's very cool and humbling to hear that people, doing research about me into my background, which I'll talk about. Sure, I'd love to talk about everything, that I've been through as an artist. I mean, I guess, um, to take it all the way back, I was always a creative kid, but I was never like a talented kid, you know.
I hear you there.
I wasn't the kid that was like, I wasn't the kid that was like, sitting down with a pencil and paper and drawing, and people would like come up behind you and be like, "Oh my God, you have to see what this kid's drawing." I was like doodling, and it took a long time for me to like because I loved art, and I wasn't really good at anything else in school, and so like when I went to like college and stuff, um, I just gravitated towards the arts, and I decided to go and do motion graphics design and graphic design, because it seemed like that would be like a avenue, to like have a career.
Yeah. For your
Um,
creative
and I
outlet,
pretty
right?
much, yeah, exactly. So I like was making music and doing all that kind of stuff too. I play piano, I play keyboards. And Yeah, so I got into broadcast design, motion graphics. I did like Masters of Fine Arts from SCAD,
Oh,
which was like a fun time. I don't know if anybody knows that school,
Savannah
but
College of Art and
it's a
Design,
really
right? My best friend
yeah, yeah,
graduated from
yeah.
there. He works for Rockstar Games. That's exciting.
Cool. Yeah, cool. I mean, there's a lot of people that I feel like get um, into the art world that know somebody who knows somebody who went to that school, or a handful of other like schools that have just like really attractive programs for creative types. It's a great program, and you know, one of the things that happened while I was there was that like I just that I kind of decided to like do the masters because like I wanted to teach.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy sharing, the things that I know, with other people. And so like I did all that, and then I got out, and like the academic world was just like so overwhelming, um, in terms of like research papers and all this other stuff that I was just like not into. I just like wanted to sit and make art, and 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 also help people learn art and stuff, and like sit with students and like walk them through the software and like tips and tricks and critiquing artwork and um, just being like the active role of like being a teacher. I had a lot of interest in, and so like the academic world was kind of just like a bummer, but that has now translated into like um, one of the things that people know me for the most, in my art and everything, is my YouTube tutorials. Um, and then I also do like a series of premium tutorials that are like for sale on my site, which was like what I was doing before NFTs. um, but a lot of people that have been learning Cinema 4D and Octane go through my tutorial series. They'll usually like start on YouTube and then pull out the wallet and pay for the stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, I did a giveaway for about 4 months where they were all free, and I just like recently put the price um, back up, but I'm gonna add a couple more, and then I think I'm gonna start doing YouTube tutorials again because I feel like that is something I've been missing doing, is like watching people learn from that and experiencing that. We've just got like so much stuff going on
Yeah.
in the NFT world,
That's what's the beautiful part
but
of it is that you can literally do anything that you can put your mind to. It's funny because I was talking
hmm
to a couple of the artists from the first volume about doing something special for some of the Night Kids membership holders in the Discord to like help show like how they create their art and whatnot. So, it's
yeah,
something that I would love to discuss with you as well.
yeah, definitely. That sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
especially since you have that
Yeah,
teaching
it's just
aspect and you love mentoring people. Um,
I do. I do. Yeah, I've thought a lot about that recently, about like how how that might be a way that like I could really connect with people, through teaching and through just like sharing what I know and everything. Um, yeah, but I guess like to take it back to like my background as like my art, with my art, and like my personal stuff is like pretty much like I had I kind of finished grad school and I wasn't really like into doing an academic route, so like I moved to Los Angeles, where I live now. Still, I've been in LA for 10 years now, and I still live in the same apartment, which is like one of those weird things that never happens in LA. Just I'm in rent control and I'm like I'm chilling.
Yeah, can't blame you there.
um, yeah, so I moved out to LA, and definitely had um, like a dark night of the soul, sort of emotional mental health crisis situation, and I ended up like getting sober, like quitting drinking, quitting drugs. A lot of people look at my work and they're like, "How much drugs do you do?"
It's typical of most
I
artists,
always have
right?
to tell them, I always have to tell them like, "Well, it used to be like a lot. These days, not so much." Um, but yeah, I mean, part of coming out of that darkness was like starting to create my own work. And I feel like a lot of artists can relate to that. Like, we just like we really need to express our emotions. Like, we need to express how we're feeling, and allow the work to like take us out of that darkness, or just to feel the darkness, because sometimes we just need to feel it, and part of like sitting with the feelings is like the creative process for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. The whole reason why I started Night Kids personally is because I was in a dark spot myself. and I had such
Mhm.
anxiety about my job working in healthcare and the state of healthcare in the United States, and just knowing I worked for
Mm.
United Healthcare, which is a huge name in this space. Um, they just they're just so much for profit that I knew that there was nothing that I could do to change the way that healthcare in the United States could be. And I just had to get out
Mhm.
and I love talking to people. I love helping people just like you love mentoring people. I love connecting the
Mhm.
dots, you know. So it sounds like you
Mhm.
had like a similar, hey, wow, I really need to reassess what's going on here. Um, so
Mhm.
what brought you to think like this is my style? How did you get to your style of art in from where you were back, you know, coming out of grad school?
Mm. That's a really interesting question. Um, yeah, because like I've always been a Cinema 4D artist, 3D and After Effects, and I was really interested in like what was going on with what people was doing. I think um, in the mid-teens, like 2014,
Yeah.
2015. Um, I really liked seeing what he was doing, and like Joey Camacho from Raw and Rendered. I don't know if you know him. Um, but these guys were just like they were using Instagram and like Tumblr and like a number of other platforms to just like um, practice art as a working artist, um, as opposed to like you know, um, they were using it as like as sort of this daily, like both of them were doing daily
Yeah.
renders, right? And they were using it as this sort of like daily practice, of just like I'm going to sit down and make my thing. And then I had this friend who was making a GIF every day, like an animated GIF, like using cinema, just like this looping thing. And he was like, I've been doing this for like 150 days, and I was like so inspired by him because like you saw the ones that he was doing in the beginning, and then you saw like what happened after a year, and you saw what happened like after 2 years, and you could do that with like any of these like sort of everyday artists who have this like archive of work, on Instagram or on Tumblr or like wherever they started back in the day, and it's kind of amazing to like see the
Oh,
progress.
hilarious! Yeah, for
So
sure. The volume of
yeah,
of the
so
work, right? Like when you're first starting and you're unsure of your craft, right? And then you're slowly like
mhm,
it's like a sword, you're tempering it throughout the years and just
mhm,
seeing like the
mhm,
difference, you know? I mean, I haven't seen like all of Beeple's work, but going through his stuff, um, his early stuff to now, it's just wow, the changes. I mean,
mhm,
even human beings, we grow every single day if you try to learn something new, right?
right,
So just us as a person, we're all like untempered swords, and it depends on the company
mhm,
that you keep, right? It sounds like you had great company and
mhm,
great people, artists that really helped
yeah.
inspire you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean his first couple of like I don't know if it's the first year or first couple of months, but it's like these portraits, I guess, and they're so bad. I'm talking about people. They're like so funny. But yeah, you're right. It's about the people that we surround ourselves with, and like I got a job out here, the NFL, NFL Network. I was working for them, doing art directing a show about fantasy football. And it was cool. But there were just so many cool artists that I got to interact with, and there was a guy named Kelly Bolton. He's dropped a couple of NFTs, but nobody really knows who he is. But he's a good friend of mine, and he was doing everydays and on Instagram with Cinema 4D and Octane, and he was like, "Hey, why don't we like challenge each other to like do them?" And like I was I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to um you know keep it going, or like I was afraid that he was gonna start making all kinds of cool art and I was gonna be left behind.
Oh
So,
no, yeah.
so like I accepted the challenge, and I started with that. And after about 3 months, I think he stopped, and I just like kept going. Um, but what inspires me is like nature and the spiritual journey, like meditation and spiritual practice is like a huge part of my life. I wake up and do it every single morning, and every single night, and I have a sort of connection to some kind of spirit of the universe that that I connect
Hmm.
with. They don't really call anything,
No, I definitely understand, man.
uh,
I'm the same way, dude. Just
I think a lot of people are. It's rather unspoken, and I like to try and like bring that out into the light, and say like, you know what, like you don't have to be this, you don't have to be that. You can just say like, look, I feel connected to something, and that's good enough for me, or nothing, whatever you feel, that resonates. But that's where I am with it. And so for my art, like when I started getting into the software and like doing these natural sort of things, I was just blown away by like how much the technology had advanced, in terms of like creating mountains and carving canyons and texturing landscapes and all of the foliage. And um, I was just absolutely blown away at what I was able to create. And that came from honing the skills, day in and day out. My first nature renders were terrible. um, like I said, it was never raw talent. It was always practice and patience and learning.
oh yeah, definitely. With anything in life, those are the things that you need. You need to practice, you need patience, especially with yourself, because it's everything's not always going to be perfect at first, but you'll find your stride along the way. And I definitely feel that you've found your stride, man, because your artwork, when I first saw it, thanks to a suggestion by Brad, by the way, he hooked me up, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Holy crap, dude!" I definitely resonate with what this guy is doing in his art. Um, as you know, like we have talked about, like my first like drop did not go as well and as planned. And I received a lot of frustrated people and whatnot, and I
Hmm.
real down mentally and whatnot. And I just decided, like, you know what, I, I I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing through, and persevere, and just be fearless with my actions. And
Hmm.
talking to you and trying to understand like the Dow pieces, right? The ones that you
Hmm.
gave, oh my gosh, they're just absolutely gorgeous, and they just really do resonate with that theme.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you want me to talk about them a little bit, or do you have some more questions, or where you want to go from here? I can kind of, I have a way of sort of just talking
Same, same.
about
So,
nothing
I mean, I have
if you
them
don't
written
tell me
out,
what to talk
so
about.
don't worry. I'll keep us back on track. So, yeah, if you'd
Uh,
like to discuss them.
Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry, Josh. It's Brad here, mate. Hello, mate. You're right.
Hey, Brad.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I just thought I'd say, just when Lacey just chipped in there, I just thought I'd say, mate. I mean, from day one, I've supported you, Josh, and your artwork, mate. I mean,
Yeah.
it speaks for itself, mate. I mean, from an artistic point of view, what I'd like to ask you as a question that I didn't post in the thing, like say, sorry for chiming in and asking to comment, mate. Just quickly, is with the current PFP hype of the game, the the subducks and the BAYC, do you see a momentum shift towards the higher quality art pieces? And I'm not talking down on some of these other PFP projects, but I'm talking about the sort of art that you do, Josh, in terms of where it's intrinsically, if you was to put that on a wall, it would fit into any house, and your art's fantastic, mate. And it's I mean, your pieces that I bought, mate. I mean, I just love them, mate. Absolutely love them. But do you do you see the NFT space going down that way again?
You mean like more towards one of ones away from PFP?
Yeah, I think that, yeah. that's exactly what I mean. So away from the PFP hype and towards the higher quality art, not in terms of that the PFP art isn't high quality in what they do, but in terms of the random minting and things like that. You
Yeah.
know, in terms of your
Well, a lot of
portals
it's
drop,
not.
mate. I mean, there was people. I mean, I think your first portals drop that I minted. There was what I mean. You probably know more than me, but I think 600 of each piece were minted, and everyone loved them, absolutely loved them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you
Mate. My
said.
pleasure.
You know, you and I have DM'd quite a bit, and talked about some like pretty fucking deep shit, and I really appreciate your support, and I know that you were part of the portals drop and the Beyond the Portal burn, and you sent me that framed piece, and you know, I mean, it's just I can't ask for a better supporter, and I think, you know, the more people like that that we have in the space, the better. You know, I think the PFPs are drawing in a lot of money, you know, and people who are trying to make money, um, which is, I feel like, what was happening at the beginning with like Top Shot, and you know, like last year at this time, pretty much, I guess. I wasn't really involved yet, but I do think, like, here's what I think. I think that like the NFT market is just going to keep expanding. You know, like I don't think it's going to direct in one place. You know, I mean, I think there's going to be people that are really interested in buying stuff for long-term holds. You know, like, and there's going to be people that are interested in buying stuff for short-term flips. You know, and I think, and there's always going to be people that just want to buy art because um, they love the work. You know, they love the work. They want to hang it on their wall, and they know that it has both, you know, aesthetic value, and it has monetary value. And you know, like you know, I look around and I see a lot of other artists who are sort of, you know, in the same category as me. Like, I'm thinking about like Malavita and a few others who are people that I'm friends with. But like, you know, I would buy that and I would put it on my wall, and I would have the expectation that like 25 years from now, like I could give it to, you know, my niece or my nephew or my kid if I had a kid. I don't have a kid, but I mean, that could still be in the cards. But, you know, I've got nieces and nephews. I mean, I have nieces, and I have some, you know, adopted sort of semi nephews. But, you know, like, this is stuff that you could pass on. That's my point, you know, um, because it's going to have value. You know, it's like, I think people look at NFTs, and I think they still feel like, okay, like, which ones are the Bitcoins, you know, which ones are and which ones are the shit coins, you know, and which ones are the altcoins, you know, kind of like crypto was maybe 10 years ago, where it was like, oh my God, it's exploding. There's like a million, you know, there's like a million little tokens out there, you know. So I think it's going to expand, and I think like the people that are in it for like a quick flip to make a quick buck, like obviously all that stuff's gonna fail,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think with the I mean, this is my last comment. Sorry, before Lacey, I'll let you take over. But I think, Josh, I completely agree with you. And you know, with the PFP hype, you know, I mean, I've minted my fair few projects, and I think it lends into the hands of those guys that want to. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but those guys that want to gamble, and, you know, and get the rare one, and flip the money, and make the money, etc., etc. But if we're honest, you know, there's not many that are going to make it out there of the PFP projects, and there's going to be a lot of genuine artists like yourself out there who will still be creating work, you know, and that's where I see
Hmm.
myself, you know, in the future. I see NFTs going. I walk into a hotel lobby, and instead of a canvas hanging up on the wall, there'll be a projector or a screen showing your artwork in there,
Hmm.
and I think that's where it's going to be lending. That's where the NFT space will be going. It can't get vandalized in terms of, you can't destroy the artwork, you can destroy the screen, but it can't get vandalized. You can't steal it, you know. And I think that's where I see it going in terms of, you know, if you held a Josh Pierce 101 piece right, and you're a multi-millionaire and you've got a 15-bedroom house in Los Angeles or London, right, then you can put it on your wall there and display it like I do in my little house in South London here. And I think that's the way that I see it going, because, you know, I've got my fair share of PFP projects, and with Nightkids, you know, similar sort of thing. It's high quality work, high quality pieces that I think that you can easily then turn into a displayable piece that you can put in your house. And that's the way I see it going. I may well be wrong, but for the long-term game, I hope that it does go that way, and I think it will as well. But thank you guys for letting me speak, and Josh, I love your work, man. Lacey, you're a legend too, man. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. No worries, brother. Always appreciate you.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Yeah, so I agree, man. You know, people are still going to find profile pic projects appealing because you got to think there are more communities out there than there are really for people. There's going to be people that obviously try to flip, but there are people out there that are genuinely looking for a project that resonates with them and that, you know, their own interests. And I think it's coming to community interest instead of self-interest. That's where the big change in NFTs is going to be, when it goes from self-interest to community interest. And that's why we tried to set up the DAO a little ahead of schedule, because I do feel that very strongly. And with Josh's artwork and the way that his pieces are represented, to me they always looked at like some of the pieces had like just a person or a shadow or figure looking at like a higher purpose, in my opinion, or something that was always bigger than themselves, and how to deal with that. Um, would you agree that's what you're kind of looking at in some of your artwork there, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I always like to say is like, you know, the what I like to portray is like, you know, this sort of presence of the beyond, you know, the presence of whatever is beyond, you know, it's like this higher power, this higher force that you know, you can't capture with an image, you know. It's just an
Oh yeah,
energy. And so, you know, what's the most abstract, you know, type of an image, which is like, you know, a simple shape. So I use a simple shape, you know, to sort of represent um, that which cannot be represented, you know. And you know, to your point, to like to have these sort of have these figures that are dwarfed, you know, by this power. um, it's both inspiring and can be terrifying, you
yeah,
know, to be like um, confronted, you know, to be in this confrontation, you know, with this power, and to say, you know, to stand there and look at it and ask yourself, am I destroyed by this, or like, am I going to, um, is this gonna, I'm gonna allow this to transform me, you know?
yeah, or just be accepted for who I am.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, since you started in NFTs, has that changed your artistic process at all, or um, do you still kind of use the same process beforehand?
No, I mean, I think my process is the same. And I am like such a process oriented artist, you know, um, because like what I like to do is just to um, sit down at my workstation, uh, sometimes sketch something, sometimes come up with a few like compositional ideas, come up with a few color schemes. You know, that's usually where I start. Like, I have kind of an idea, you know. Sometimes I have like a dream the day before. Like, I have a lot of really vivid dreams.
Those are the best,
Um,
especially if you can remember
yeah,
them.
yeah, I do. I have a pretty good memory for my dreams because I don't know if anyone's done this, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Just take a year, like 1 year, and write down your dreams every night for a year. It changed my life. Like it changed my creativity. It's because it just and it changed how I dream too. Like it's more like it's brighter. You know, it's more vivid. I can remember what happened in them, and there's and it's more fun. You know, I mean, it's not like a lucid dreaming thing, but you know, if there's something that's like scary that's going on, it's never really scary. You know, it's sort of just like I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Um, but most of the time, I have like these incredible dreams about like you know the most beautiful place you've ever seen. You know, and there's this music, and it's like music I've never heard before, and it's the most beautiful music I've ever heard. And you know, so I often have like color schemes or different kinds of like rock formations and different kinds of landscapes that I dream about. Anyway, and I'll kind of like wake up and I'll like you know maybe do a little doodle sketches, um, just go through on like Pinterest or whatever, and like pull some inspiration of like things that you know Pinterest is kind of amazing because you can be like oh like this kind of rocky formation, and then it just the way the algorithm works is like incredible.
I
It's
agree.
probably like the best. It's probably like the best for inspiration that's like out there. Um, so I'll do that, and then like process wise, you know, I just sit down, I start sculpting some terrain, throw some textures on it, pull in a camera, and start messing around and get my forms going and get my color scheme ready. Like I like to work at like it's funny because so much of my work is like hyper
Hmm.
saturated. But when I'm working inside of cinema with Octane, um, everything is like very muted. Like I work in a very, very muted palette um, inside of cinema. It's so funny to like see the before and after because like what I do in post processing really changes the whole look. But like when I find that like when I work in a really muted palette, like lately, that like the colors like they gel together better, you
Okay.
know, because they're all kind of like in one in one range, you know, and nothing's like too overpowering. And then like when you know when I use like a series of like colored LUTs, you know, to um, to kind of unify everything. And I don't know, it's just that I found has really worked well for me. But in terms of like you know to go back to the question, has my process changed? No, not really. You know, I try to create work every day. Um, I mean, the only thing that's changed is I don't have as much time anymore. Um, in some ways, I don't have as much time. In some ways, I have more time because I'm not working a job anymore, which is great.
Hey, yeah, that's always the
um,
dream, right? Is to just be creative and work on your art, right? So, like, with your whole
yeah,
setup, you're saying you're doing sketches and stuff. So, do you hand draw them on paper, or do you prefer like an iPad, or um, what's your equipment
yeah,
like?
I'm definitely. I mean, my my sketches are like doodles. You know, I sometimes I'll do them on my whiteboard, which is like you know just dry erase
Yeah,
board.
no, that's pretty dope. I
I'm
like
like
that.
you know I draw a frame and I'm like okay, and it's just a rough. It's just like a super rough block out of the composition. Like, you know, I want mountains here, I want a tree there, I want rocks here, guy standing here. You know, um, but yeah, I mean I just do it on notebook paper or whatever. Mostly it's usually to just block out compositions. But the one thing that has changed is like I do, I guess, have more time to go back and animate pieces that I always wanted to like have the time to like make animations out of. I just never really, you know, was able to. And in a lot of ways, like because like that's probably driven. It's probably the one thing that's driven the most of anything I can think of by the
Hmm.
NFT world, because so many people are like wanting to see animated work. And like when I make my work, I imagine how it would be moving, and most of the time it's just these sort of cinematograph type little loops where maybe see the clouds moving, you see the leaves moving, and the water is rippling, those kind of things. But that's just sort of like icing on the cake if I can do it. But I don't think it needs it, and I enjoy it, but sometimes it's not necessarily called for. But would probably be the one change, the one thing that would be a little different.
So, do you think then for somebody that's new, that's like already like a full-time professional, um, is there any type of tool that you would recommend for people that are newer coming into this space that really want to try their hand at getting into NFTs and trying to, sell up their artwork? Is there any specific tools that you would recommend?
I mean, I know a lot more about art than I know about NFTs. And when I say art, I mean not even really you know, traditional art. I know a lot about Cinema 4D, I know a lot about Octane. I know a lot about post processing, After Effects, animation, all of those things. And I know a little. I know a good amount of critical art theory, and art history, and contemporary art movements. Um, but at the same time, when it comes to NFTs, I am still learning as much as I can every day. Um, and I guess, the only piece of advice I would say is, you know, stay true to your art, make what you love to make. Don't get sucked into doing what everybody else is doing just because some people are making money, because like that's going to go away. And then what are you going to be left with? Like I find that like things come and go, like everything comes and goes. And like if I can be proud of like what I'm doing, on my own, like in my own island, um, not that I don't want to be connected with people, but you know, I know that my work will always be there. Like if NFTs disappear tomorrow, I know that I can still sit down every day, make my art, and get something out of it, which is my ability to like express my emotions and my ability to be proud of something that I can create, and I can still do things with it. I can still make prints out of it. I can still give it to my friends and family as gifts. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the best piece of advice is just to stay true to your art and learn as much as you possibly can, and get connected with people and get connected to the community. Community is probably the best tool, because we can't all do everything
That's
ourselves.
for
And
sure.
so we need people to work together with.
Excellent, excellent. So Travis, looks like you have a question here. Let's get you on here. Welcome, Travis. What question do you have today, sir? Okay, short question, I guess. If you come back, dude, we'll definitely get you up here again. Um, so let's see here. So let me go to the Discord. There's some more questions here.
Yeah,
So
I'm doing the same thing.
looks like a question from Oxus says, "What's the most valuable NFT you own, and what's the story behind the purchase, if so?"
Hmm. What's the most valuable NFT that I own? I don't. Let's see. I don't own very many really very valuable NFTs. I'm not very good with being a trader.
Well, I always take valuable as two things, right? Valuable
Sure.
monetary wise, and there's valuable like what has the most meaning to me behind it. So if you have something that's like the most meaningful to you, definitely love to hear that side too.
Sure. I will take a stab first with the most valuable, which I think right now is my cool cat, which is a floor cool cat. And I think it's like probably worth like 10 ETH right now. Um, and I mean, let's see, I bought a Bored Ape um, on the day it minted on secondary for like 0.3
Oh wow, nice.
ETH. And I ended up actually like sort of oops selling it because I was listed, um, and I didn't unlist it when the
Can I
floor
just say, just
started
quickly,
rising.
Josh, thank you very much, mate, because I saw you buy that and I thought to myself, nah, the floor's too high at 0.3. And I didn't buy any after that either. So, yeah. Oh, well.
It happens,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
It happens. I sold an ape
yeah.
too early too, man. I sold one for like 2.5 ETH, man, and I'm like,
Yeah. Mine sold for 1.3, and I never went and got it back. So that's kind of the world of NFTs. Like, I tell my friends like, "Oh my God, I made this huge mistake, and I made this terrible mistake, and I made $3,000." You know,
yeah, and they're like, but you made how much?
they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
It sounds like a win-win to me.
Yeah. I have a number of NFTs like by some good friends, and I think I'm gonna have to say that like my I think I'd have to say like my favorite one that I own, or the most important one I own, is probably uh, a Red Riding Hood by Ted's Little Dream, because it was the first NFT that I bought after my first sale, and we dropped together on Nifty Gateway, and that's how I met him. And now we're like friends, and we talk all the time. We text, and like he's come and visited me.
Oh, super cool, man.
Um,
That you went from
and
community to like friendship off of NFTs.
yeah, so now like we're super tight, and we just did a collab, and that got posted. People went crazy. They loved it. But yeah, we're good friends, and but his NFT was the first one I bought. Um, So that's probably like my favorite. And then I have like some. Well, I had a fuck render, and then I changed it for some crystals. And I have a Bitcoin Angel, which is pretty
Oh yeah.
awesome. And I also have a Lay Anime by Too Much Lag. And he was somebody that I knew. Also, him and fuck render I knew, prior to NFTs, because we were all doing, Instagram art, and um, we all kind of knew each other, so picking up some of their pieces was super cool too.
Definitely. Looks like we have a question here from Antonio. Let's pull Antonio in here.
Let's do it.
Hi,
Hey,
Antonio.
hey, man.
Hi.
Thank you both for hosting and joining. Josh, obviously, really big fan of your work. And Les, I've known you through the Discord. Been here since the Nightkids minting, and have bought both passes as well as art since.
Appreciate you.
So definitely like holding on for dear life here. Big fan of the project, and still think that these are early innings. One of the questions I had, Josh, I think it would be beneficial for the rest of the Night Kids members, would just be providing us some insight as it relates to Lasse himself. Um, from my perspective, he's a great curator. He has a good eye. His ability to kind of identify artists early, bring them together to opt into a project. And he even alluded to the fact that, there were some missteps with the initial drop, but he was still able to find a high quality artist like yourself. So maybe just give some insight into how you all met, your working relationship, and kind of some of the key traits that got you excited about him as well as the project going forward.
Sure. I mean, well, it was like Brad that who was on here who connected with us, who connected us together. And so, you know, I get hit up a lot of times for different projects and different things, and um, you know, so to have somebody like Brad who like I know and like I have a personal relationship with, say like, hey, I think you should get involved in this project. That was like, I mean, that was probably like the number one um, indicator to me that it was like that it was a really cool project, and I, you know, it was like an opportunity I wanted to definitely take seriously, you know, because I care about the people that that invest that much in my work. To be honest with you, like what, you know, how much of my work that Brad has collected, you know, it speaks volumes. So um, yeah, you know, so like I guess just kind of talking to Lace and getting, you know, getting connected and just DMing back and forth. You know, it just it all just kind of clicked.
It really
You
did.
know, he was,
It really did.
you know,
I think I can speak to like put some parts of this in. So I originally, when I was looking for somebody, Antonio, um, Brad had showed in the Discord for Night Kids some of the artwork on his mural canvas that from volume one, and he also had a picture that was of Josh's work, and I was like blown away. I was like, dude, whose work is that? And he's like, Josh Pierce. I was like, that work is phenomenal in that mural canvas. I'm gonna have to pick some up. Um, so then he like DM'd me. He's like, "Hey man, what do you think about working with him?" And I was like, "Do you think he would even want to work with me?" And Brad was like, "Yeah, man, Josh is not like that. He has no ego, dude. He's all about the art, having fun, just like you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Yeah, if you could set up anything for me to talk to this guy, I would love to." And then I really went into like Josh's work, because I've seen it on Nifty Gateway before, and I did when you said Ted's a Little Dream, I remember that as well, the Red Riding Hood pieces, and I was like, you know what, this is all coming full circle now. And so when originally we talked the first time, um, it was going to be the DAO token, and I when we were picking out themes, that's when a lot of the craziness was going on with Night Kids. And I was like, you know what? I need to show these people that I'm a fearless leader, that I'm not ever going to give up on this community, and I'm going to keep pushing through. So when I talked to Josh about doing something in the style of like fearless, he was like, dude, I got you. And he showed 3 pictures that our community that we'll be able to vote on, thanks to Josh himself, and you know the rest will be history from there. So I hope I pieced some of it together for you, Josh. If you want to put in some stuff, you know, go ahead, dude.
yeah, no, I mean, I think it was, you know, it was just appealing to me to, you know, to hear what you had to say about, um, you know, reaching a broader market through collaborative work, you know, and um, you know, helping to give a platform to some artists that you felt like were more unrecognized, you know, that to me means a lot, you know, uh,
Yeah, for sure.
like there's just a lot. There's a lot of like a lot of things. I just saw this quote. This is what just keeps running through my mind as we've been talking on this call. Like, I think it was Museum of Crypto Art put it in a tweet today. Um, and the tweet was just like, marketing is winning, art is losing. And I was like, fuck, that's so true. Like that's so true right now. Like that's what's happening. And like I think it's just like that's business, unfortunately. But I think like the power that we have, like my mom was a union organizer, right? So like she told me about, the power of people, and people when we get together and band together, that like we can have more power than, um, the sort of like, I don't know, the powers of money. I don't want to say corporate interests. There's not really any corporations in NFTs yet. There will
Yeah.
be. Um, but, this sort of like the business end of things. But the power that artists have is collective. The power that artists have is to band together. So like um, along with Night Kids, there's a couple of other, smaller artist collectives that like, that I'm a part of that, that I support. And, like when I hear about these kind of like these opportunities, I definitely want to be a part of it. So like, I don't, I'm not going to claim to like know, how to write a contract or how to, how to create a smart contract. Um, but, I'm very, um, I'm very on board with all of it. Like I don't, I'm an artist at heart, and that's what I feel like I bring to the table, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, no,
Thank
it's
you.
cool.
Thank you
Thanks for your
both.
question, man.
And thanks to Brad as well. Sorry, I misheard that. And I appreciate all of you. Just keep up the great work. We're here to support.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Antonio. Appreciate you, brother. It's funny you say that, man, about your mom. So my mom, she was a teacher for 25 years. She's been in social work for 15. Um,
Hmm.
and she's always raised me to think like, there's more than just yourself. There's more than just yourself. Connect yourself with other human beings out there. uh, you can do so much more with others than you can alone. Um, and
Hmm.
that's where this whole idea stemmed from. Because, like I said to you before, you know, um, I was friends with Pop Wonder before he got really big and blew up
Hmm.
after being on OpenSea, and I was like, man, dude, your work is so amazing. How are people seeing this? There's just, a way for me to help artists. Then it's great. It's really cool that we could even do something like this. I never pictured in like a million years. You could have asked me 15 years ago, hey man, this is what you're going to be doing in 15 years. And I'm like, me? Psh, okay. That's just not going to happen. But, but it's a
Yep.
lot of fun. It is. And it's cool to be creative in my own way, but allowing the artists to just have like total creativity, like just freedom creatively within our ideas. It's super cool for sure. And to see your
Yeah.
work,
Totally.
man, I already had people messaging me, is Josh going to be a part of one of the drops? Is Josh going to be a part of one of the drops?
Hmm.
Um, we'll discuss. We'll discuss. We'll see what happens. I would love to have him, but I'm not going to put you on the spot right now, brother. That's not how I work.
Oh.
Don't you worry. We'll discuss in the background. But
Well, I think something can happen for sure.
let's see. There was one question.
Something's gonna happen.
I could feel it. I could feel it. Um, so, do you have any?
I just
Oh,
wanted
go
to
ahead.
I just wanted to say, um, speaking of like fun things, I saw that you were going to do a giveaway
Yes.
um, after the stream, and I've I decided to um, add on to that, double it up,
Oh, double or
and and
nothing.
and do a do a second piece that you can do to a second winner.
Oh, okay.
So I sent it over to you. Just my appreciation, my thanks.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. Dang, that's really generous of you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm psyched. I'm super into like I don't know, just grabbing up my pieces and giving them away if people are not going to hold them. So
Put them in the
I'd
hands of
rather
those
have
that
them
appreciate them.
in the hands of those who appreciate. Exactly.
You're a good dude, man. I appreciate that. Um, there's
Hell yeah.
there's another question here about like, are there any future projects that you want to drop any information to us about that you're currently working on, or um,
Well, I do have a couple things going on. I'd say the major one, since we're talking portals and we're talking Nifty Gateway, um, is that it's going to be a collectors only drop. Nifty Gateway, October 20th, pretty soon, um, just a couple of weeks away. So it's going to be collectors only. There's going to be 3 tiers. It's going to be there's going to be a tier for my portals holders, and those who win this particular giveaway after the stream will be eligible for that portals only drop. And then I had a second collection on Nifty Gateway called the Journey. There's going to be a reward for those holders. It's a much smaller collection. It minted in the middle of the drought, so it's really small. And then there's going to be a third special reward for the people who have my Beyond piece. And I know Brad's got one.
oh yeah, he certainly does.
And there's only 25 of them out there. And so there's going to be a reward for that as well. That's the main thing that's happening. I'm also involved in Wilder World with Frank Wilder and his whole team. They're building some really cool stuff. I've got a piece that I'm releasing with them. I'm doing an auction with Orphan Crypto on Saturday with Malavita and Esmakia and a couple other really cool artists that are friends of mine. That's about it that I've got going on right now, but I don't know, it's quite a few things.
Oh yeah, certainly, man. It sounds like you got your hands full, which is always great, right? You always want to be creating and generating, a creative outlet for yourself, which I can definitely respect here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does anybody in the Twitter Spaces have anything that they would like to ask Josh? Now is your time. Okay. I have a couple more questions here from the Discord. So, what are some of Josh's favorite pieces that he's created, like top 3?
Ooh, of my own
Oh yeah.
creations. Honestly, it worked out that Beyond was one of my favorites. So the Beyond piece that's on Nifty Gateway. That's probably like my favorite one of my own creations. And most of the ones that I really love end up getting minted. And I think like recently, I had kind of like a spiritual experience when I was making this piece called Gateway, which was on super rare. Ended up selling for like 10 ETH, which was like an all-time high
Oh
sale.
wow, yeah.
But like while I was, it's weird because like while I was making that piece, I was like in this incredibly like spiritual zone, which is like what I try and do every day when I'm making art. But like there was a lot of stuff going on. I was in a really weird emotional place, and it just like it came through in the work, and I was like, I have to make this into a piece and sell it. And of course, like it ended up being, this like all-time high sale.
That's an amazing sale, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy with it. You know, I don't expect, it was like a bidding war situation. I don't expect my stuff to really go that much higher than that. And then I think like probably, you know, I was gonna say like I made this title sequence, which is not an NFT, and it's like totally not like the kind of work that that I normally do, but I'm really proud of it. And it's not out there, and you can't see it anywhere. um, it's not on TV anywhere, but it was one of my favorite pieces ever. It was for Brave New World TV series. Um, it was just like a mock-up, but you know, I basically like directed this 1 minute open and did all the animation and did all of the stuff and the titles and everything. And it's just I can watch it over and over and over, and I just love it.
Oh, you're gonna have to share with us.
It used to be up on my website. It's not there anymore. But I'll share it. I'll find a way to share it.
Yeah, that'd be super cool, man. Let's see. We had a couple more here. So what do you aim to achieve in your art and in this particular project? Well, we can take away in this particular project, but what do you aim to achieve in your art?
Well, I mean that's a simple question, and I have a simple answer for that. I wish I could word it in a simple way, but I think it's really about carrying a message of hope and optimism. You know, I think it's about transforming, transporting, and transforming. You know, the viewer. You know, like bring them into this other place. You know, and have a transformation like inside of the heart. You know, like have a transformation in the heart. You know, like that's what I aim for. You know, and people tell me that they connect with my art in that way. They say, you know, I get DMs from people and they say like, you know, I saw your piece today. You know, like I took a deep breath when I saw it, and my day was like different from that point on. You know,
Oh, I definitely do.
or like, you know, and that's why I do it. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I make what I make, because I want people to pause. You know, and I think like pausing brings us into the present moment, and like the present moment brings us into this sort of awareness, this level of awareness, um, that like there's a shift. You know, there's a shift from like the monkey mind. You know, I don't know how anybody else experiences, but like I have this monkey mind that's just like it's like a hamster on a wheel. You know, it just like goes and goes and goes. Like wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, I have this to do, I have this to do, I have this to do. You know, and like every list is like, you know, I make lists all day of things I'm trying to do, and I feel like this is a really common experience. And then
It definitely
almost
is. I'm
everybody
in that.
goes
I
through
go through
this.
the monkey
You know,
mind, the cow mind. Yeah.
yeah,
So I definitely hear and feel you on all that. I mean, that's what really drew me to
yeah,
you is when I did see that piece that Brad put up in Ocean Beyond. It did. It did. The way that your color schemes work, it's very calming to me. Um,
mm-hmm,
you know, even one of the pieces, the fulfilled piece. You know,
mm-hmm,
there's
mm-hmm,
there's a double meaning behind that. The reason why I'm raffling that off today is because I had promised the community that I would do my best to keep this train moving.
mm,
And so now that's my promise that I made being fulfilled. Say, hey, look, we got
right,
somebody as amazing as Josh Pierce in Night Kids,
yeah,
you know, and
it's great,
just the color schemes in that one, because I own two of them. I have one for myself, and
cool,
then I had one for the giveaway. And I said, you know what? It's really funny to be able to use it that way, but just
it's
the
perfect.
feeling of being fulfilled through art. it's changed my
Hmm.
life personally, and I know that the people that are in this Twitter Spaces right now, being in this community has changed their lives in one way or another, and I hope it's only been for the good. Um, if anything, it's the connections we make, right, through the journey. And everybody will say it. We're so damn early in this space that
Hmm.
it's who knows what's going to happen next month in Nifty land, you know? So that brings me
Right.
to my last question here. What are you looking forward to in the Nifty space?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to um, real life meetups. That's what I'm looking forward to. I know that's a weird answer, but like I'm looking forward to New York in
Oh, I'll
November.
be there.
I'm gonna be
I'll
there.
be
I'm gonna
there.
be there running around the city. Um, like anything that that makes this um, more real. Like I feel like we all live on the internet, and that's cool. And I know it's like I know we're super early. You never know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows the future. Um, you never know what's gonna happen. It's kind of like it's kind of like being in the stock market or watching a football game or you know um, you never know what's gonna happen, and all you can do is show up and uh, take the next indicated action and stay out of the results. That's one of my mottos. Kind of just you got to just show up and kind of have the expectation to expect the unexpected.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because with new technology, that there are so
Hmm.
many new things that I've been personally seeing that I there's no way that I can even come up with an idea of what's available next month. And that's what's so
Right.
cool about this technology is that there are so many other people out there when you're forming these meetups and stuff, right? And I am actually really excited for real life meetups myself. I just went to a Gutter Cat conference in Las
Mm,
Vegas for a meetup there, and that
cool.
was super fun. Got to meet a lot of really cool people there, and some Night Kids holders. So that was cool to talk to them, and be able to
Great.
put a face to the name. Um, and then from that, like it, it's really about the whole connecting of people and
Yeah.
the sense of community, like you said.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see where it goes. Like I'm just going to suit up and show up and bring to the table like what I have always brought to the table, like which is my art, and my um, and my ability, I think, to I guess be of service to others. Like I said in the beginning, I think I'm gonna um, put a little bit more effort into community mentoring because I think that's a really cool avenue. It's a little unexplored for me. It's just something I got away from that used to give me a lot of joy. And I think it's a really cool way to give back to the community too. So, I'm looking forward to all that stuff. But you build the base. You build the foundation of what you're bringing to the table, and then no matter what happens in the future, we're early. But what that really means is we're in a really good position to take advantage of whatever happens next. As long as we stay true to our foundation that we've built at this time.
For sure, for sure. Wise words, man. Wise words. I've learned a lot, man, just talking to you tonight and being able to hear some more about your story. Does anybody have any final questions for Josh before we let him go? All right, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
a 1 minute cutoff for the questions. And let's see here.
that sounds good. I've just really appreciated you guys having me. Like I said, I'm psyched to be a part of these kind of projects that are really about the community and really about elevating, voices that are not getting the attention that they deserve. So I'm all about it. It's been a good chat, and yeah, I'm psyched.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see, what the community votes for the picture, for the DAO token. Um, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see like what you start doing with mentoring. Hopefully, you and I can work some more in that as well, because I would love to try to help as many artists as possible with anything, if it's as small
Hmm.
as like finding somebody such as yourself. Because would not say that I would be a verified art critic, right? You are way more than I am in that space. So if I could lend a hand to anybody that's in our community, like, hey, we can post something up and Josh Pierce roast my artwork or something.
Well, I mean, critique is one of the most valuable tools that you have as an artist. So, I mean, I think it really is valuable. It's sort of about learning how to, not just like give critique in a constructive way, but like accept it in a constructive way, because we can be very sensitive.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you there,
But
man.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I'd be happy to do something like that. That would be really cool.
Yeah. All right. So since we don't have anybody here, gonna let him go. I appreciate everybody for stopping in, asking questions, and giving their time to us. We're gonna start doing this more often with other artists and trying to do more of this kind of community give back, because we do have a lot of amazing talent within the Night Kids community by itself. And if there's anything that I can ever do for any of you guys and ladies, I'm always here for and open to suggestions to help everybody out. So I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you again, Josh. Appreciate you.
Thanks so much. I appreciated you having me. It was fun talk. Good times.
All right, take care, everyone. Have a good night or morning, wherever
Okay.
you are. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye.